Yeah.
Out of the Bible. Like, and they don't even realize it. I mean, he does. He's a genius.
Oh, okay, yeah. Well, sure. I'm the same fucking way. I have it. That's why I would love to fucking talk with him, but I don't know. He's like a worldly sized man. Me, I would love to talk with him, but I don't know. I kind of got to find my purpose in life. I don't know. That's his purpose. My purpose, I think, is more like local, at least for the moment, is the local community.
Yeah.
Like I prophesy. I know I fucking did 2.5 years ago. I had a lot of people following me and listening to me back then. Like everything I posted. And I felt like a prophet. I prophesied about shit that was going to happen. And it all happened to me, and I see other people kind of following along the same path I went down. Kind of like you and all the stuff you're learning with your soap and making all that shit. That's what I've done 2.5 years ago. So you're a part of the new world as well. You know, you're kind of separate from your dad. You had that outer body experience and everything. And where he was like old school, kind of old physical, Old Testament God is how I would put it. You're more like new school, new young God, kind of like me coming up in the new world. That's why you follow Joe Rogan and all that other shit, the spirituality and everything going on.
It blows. I can't say he doesn't, but I'm sure he's read it. But it's crazy to me, Joe Rogan. I mean, I don't know how to put it.
Never used AC in this. How he was?
He's kind of like majorly against religion.
Oh,
I don't want to say against it. He just is like no, that's no. Like that's not how we worked.
We're coming to a point where I understand the religions, they actually create like cornerstones and foundations of the world. Where this one's over here, this one's over here, and they're all coming up to a point where they're coming together. So imagine like the pyramids, you know, you start, and they all work up to a pinnacle. So that's what's going on. Instead of having separate religions, we're going to have to learn how to combine all the religions together, because they all are. They're
very similar in ways. Like
it's like you ever heard the saying, all paths lead to the same place?
Yeah.
In life, everything is leading us towards God. All religions are leading us towards God.
Did you ever look into Islam? 13th tribe exiled, which created Islam.
I think you or somebody else. I think maybe you said something about that before.
Yeah, Josh was telling me, he's like, you need to read, the Quran. He's like, that was tribe of Abraham, 13th, and they got exiled, and I guess that's how you got Islam. But he's like, you got to read it.
Okay. And see, that's how...
But he's like, it brought me back to Genesis. He's like, it brought me back there.
Everything does.
Yeah.
When you have a revelation, you complete something, you're going to return back to the beginning.
Yeah.
Because it's a cycle. So that makes perfect sense, though. That's like...
but 13th is like a very...
They was exiled, so was Cain and Abel. So I was told by a Christian who'd been researching this Christianity and stuff for 30 years. The glass man, down there, glass man,
They put the back glass on the truck.
Okay. Well, me and him had like an hour or two long talk out there while he was doing my windshield. He said that he believed everything he had researched, that Buddhism had come from the teachings of Cain, who descended down from Cain. That makes perfect sense. So God exiled Cain, but now look what's happening. Buddhism is coming back into our country and is kind of overruling Christianity. It's like clashing with Christianity.
Okay, what is Hinduism?
And they're going to have to learn to come together. I'm not 100% sure.
I've never looked into it.
Hinduism has 2 gods, I think, which I believe are maybe masculine and feminine.
Yes, okay, I was thinking that. Male, female.
And one of them... See, I have a connection with one of them gods. I'm not certain which one it is. The sexual one, I guess, are both of them sexual, or... I don't know a lot about it.
Are Asians... I know some Asians are Buddhist, but I was thinking they're like the other half.
See, that's why I think Hinduism and Buddhism are 2 parts to the same thing. So I think all that descended probably from Cain or whatever.
Did you ever climb Mount Fuji?
No, I never. got to
Wesley
go do
did,
that.
and he showed me pictures of like the temple and stuff up there. It looks like something. Like,
Dude, those
when I think
temples
of that,
are immaculate.
when I think of something like that, that's what I see.
I would love to go see something like that.
He told me that was the hardest thing he ever did. Was climb Mount Fuji.
Really?
Yes. He said the
I would
wind
love
was
to do
picking
something
you
like that,
up
dude.
off the ground, like so much force. He said they had to end up carrying
I wish I would.
one of the machine gunners back, like he couldn't make it.
Yeah.
Like, he was like, it was the hardest thing he's ever did was climb Mount Fuji.
That's I broke. See that? I talk about the. I wish I had done that. I do. Maybe
Could you
one
look
day.
out? Like he sent me a picture, like when he like Snapchat me or whatever, like out of the barracks, like it was just right there. It looked. I mean, it wasn't just right there,
Oh
but
yeah,
like
sure.
you could, yeah.
Yep. Yeah, I had buddies that went out there and climbed it.
He went to
I
the
love-
suicide forest. He didn't like go in it, but he was like,
Yeah.
I guess seeing what it was. He's like, it's like bad feeling, like
Yeah.
not cool at all. Like you get a vibe from it,
Yeah.
for sure.
Nice.
But
I don't know. That's the way the temples and stuff the Buddhists live nowadays is more like kind of reminds me of Old Testament shit, because when God was leading people through the wilderness, look how the Buddhists live. They're always out in nature somewhere. Okay, well, when God led people through the wilderness, He had them build, and I remember thinking when I was reading Old Testament, He had them build altars and temples and all these magnificent, like it's very detailed. It's hard to read.
We don't build anything like they like. Look at the Mayan.
Yeah.
The Mayan temple.
And God had them build this stuff. And what blew my mind was He would have them settle in somewhere and have them build that stuff. But then they would up and move somewhere else.
Yes.
And do it again.
Yep.
Like all this insane fucking I'm like, holy fuck, that's a pile of damn work.
And it's we don't know how they did it. Like we don't know how they built the pyramids. Like we've got so many theories, but we're not. We're like, well, we really don't exactly know.
I think that was back when the angels come down to earth and took wives and stuff, and we had
Taught
a
you how to
godly
read,
giant man and who had godly abilities. And I think we're coming back into that again in life. I think that's where we're at, is developing back into a godly earth.
That's why
world.
That's why I'm big on like there's way smarter people like me. Like, but I like try to me it's like this massive puzzle and I need to put it together.
Well, that's what I'm doing. I'm the same way.
But
I was saying that's why I like doing my puzzles and shit, because I'm like, okay, it helps me to put the spiritual puzzles together too.
And it's like the giants and stuff, like I don't know, it like comes back to like government or whatever, but like you ever heard of Operation Paperclip? Like it's real, like it's actually like
I believe
real.
it.
Okay.
Yeah. It seems like I've heard of it, but I'm not familiar with it.
Well, it has to do with like Antarctica and shit. So like, you know, after World War II, whatever, the Nazis fled, all that. Like we brought like 1,600 Nazis to America to, you know, like to work for us. They just so happened to make NASA, whatever. But this guy, Operation Paperclip, he was, I forget, Green Beret something maybe, but him and a group of guys went to Antarctica to explore. And like, they like wrote down like all the things, like civilization that they found there was so high tech and beyond us at the time, like uncomparable, like uncomparable. And well, you know, he ended up dying. And you know, 2 years later, that's when they had the Antarctic Peace Treaty, where pretty much every country in the world agreed, like, no one can go there. No one is allowed to go there. Like, no one. Yes, no one. I think their max population and peak of their year is, I think it's like 1,200 people. And the thing that blew my mind was, like, a lot of Nazis left after World War II, like, tens of the thousands. A lot of them moved to South America. Argentina's president was a legit, like, Nazi. Like, legit. Like, he wasn't, like, believed in it. He was a Nazi. And I was looking at the population in Antarctica. You know, literally over half of the population are Argentinians. Like, I mean, no such thing as coincidence. And they're not stupid people. Like, the Nazis were hot. They had flying saucers with twin BMW engines in it. We barely had airplanes.
See, I understand where Hitler, that whole aspect comes from of being a superior race. That kind of comes back to your lineage. And tracing back to gods and stuff. I could see that, absolutely. That was like Hitler coming in.
I mean,
I believe he lived and acted based off of, from a god. I don't think he could have possibly done all that he done without godly assistance.
Because I mean, they were building stuff that we could not even like Imagine. And then Warner von Braun, one that heads to NASA, he was like a legit
And see, that's also another way things come back around in a cycle. So Jews were God's chosen people in the beginning.
Yes.
And then what Hitler do? He come and they were his chosen people. So they're kind of spoiled. God carried them along for a long ways. And then they got fucking crucified.
Yeah.
Just like Christ. Christ was the chosen one.
Gas chambers.
And he lived, and then he was fucking crucified. Me, on a very much shorter, smaller scale, was kind of chosen by God. Because I didn't really do that on purpose. That was something, my enlightenment and my awakening. Like, I just fucking stumbled into that shit. I don't know. They say in the spiritual community that we choose our path before we come here. And then we forget. When we get here, we get like amnesia.
Yeah.
And you have to kind of discover and
kind of like a dream.
Rediscover yourself or something. So that happened to me, and then God carried me through for a few months or something at least. Like, everything in life fell into place perfectly. I didn't have to try for shit.
I feel like that's why you get deja vu.
And then I fucking was crucified spiritually. So that's kind of like a... Well, oh yeah, I do too, because I think that, comes from... Well, I think deja vu would maybe be... from the worldly aspect of
I was always, well, I don't want to say I was always told,
lives.
but like, I was thinking Dad said like, Delcy Pack and them like, thought like deja vu came from like, a past life.
Sure.
Like you, at one time, like, your ancestor may or may like been here, and you just like, because...
Yeah.
I remember when I was a kid, the first time I ever got
or something,
First time I ever got it when we was going up to Mama's mom's in Ohio. We were passing like through them tobacco fields where they hang all the tobacco. It was like a massive deja vu, and I was like, that's weird.
Real, yeah. I get it now and then.
I haven't got it in a while, honestly.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't have a deep understanding on all that. I can understand where it comes from or why. I can understand the energy and stuff.
That's what Joe Rogan, like, he's big into bow hunting stuff because, like, how it makes him feel. Like,
it connects him to his ancestry and stuff. Yes. And that's how I was. I didn't realize this. I was going through my journey, learning all about spirituality and other religion stuff. And my two biggest ones, Hinduism is in there, but my biggest ones are Buddhism and Christianity. And I've kind of followed those lineages. Like, I went down and done some martial arts, and I've always, all my life,
have you been to the new one?
I've been interested in those things. Like the Bruce Lee style martial arts in Japan and Japanese movies. I've always been interested in those things. But then Christianity has also always been there. So those are two major things, especially in this country. You got China that's buying up land and everything.
They're one of the biggest landowners.
Yeah. And so we're kind of coming to a point, this country was, Christians come in and took over this country in the beginning too. It wasn't ours either. So now these two things are kind of coming together, which is kind of like Cain and Abel coming together to reunite. Everything that gets divided will at some point or another come back together in the future. So in the beginning, if you say God was wholesome, everything we know of come from God. You was talking about those people, everybody basically carries them in their bloodlines. Who was that? The fucking, starts with an A. Pan. But yeah, it's kind of like everybody has like, what is it, Neanderthal blood in them or some shit. So everybody comes from God in the beginning, all races and everything. So I think when you really get fully connected to God, you'll connect to everything. But it's all a big, massive working evolution that we get to enjoy. It's always whole all the time, but in order to enjoy it, you have to break it down and divide it into sections and create boundaries. If there were no boundaries, trees, you wouldn't have trees and stuff. You wouldn't be there, and I wouldn't be here.
They put trackers on these wolves, I believe out towards the Yellowstone, like different packs of wolves.
Yeah.
And, they trailed them, they followed their trails. The wolves never, ever went into the other wolves' territory. Like, in nature, knew boundaries.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's what we have to reestablish in our country. When things get mixed up, boundaries go away and get all broken up, and then you have to reestablish them. So that's why we're struggling so bad in this country. You have Democrats and Republicans divided, and liberals and all this other shit, and then politics, and spirituality, Christianity, and then all these other religions, they all got divided and mixed up. Now we're having to create a new set of boundaries. And that's what a lot of people don't understand. You have to have boundaries. If you don't have boundaries, you'll eventually destroy yourself. You can't grow and develop without boundaries.
Yeah.
So we hit a major point of chaos. And now we're reestablishing boundaries. That's what Joe Rogan, that's what Jordan Peterson is doing, is bringing a new understanding to life, to everything. Literally words. We lost understanding of words. Because, one word can have one meaning for one group of people and then a completely different meaning for another group of people. So we're having to reestablish everything in a new way.
Like Jamaica, they say words there you would say is racist here, but
I know.
It's their language.
That's lack of understanding.
Yeah, literally, it's on the crayon. Like,
so,
that's what they call it. It's like they grabbed Nina's hair. Yes. They grabbed Nina's hair, held it, and she's like,
"Yeah, I know, dude.
You got Negro hair."
It's wild, dude.
And,
I know. But it's all, and the reason that's okay there and not here is because the meaning inside of the word.
Yes.
The word is just really a cover. It's a front. It's a way of, it's like a dress. Putting clothes on. But it's what's inside that you have to find and recognize.
Like a Trojan horse.
Yeah.
Literally.
So that's where we are coming to a point where we're learning to feel into people's energy instead of. You can't recognize somebody by the clothes they wear anymore. You have good and bad people, and everybody has their own unique way of living, their own dress code, their own way of speaking. So the only way to recognize good and bad, you have to be able to feel deeper into the meaning.
Yeah,
and that's what is making we're becoming more spiritual beings, godly beings to me. But you talking about the new world? See, I've done videos before. And I know, I can tell when I have a revelation, I enter into a new world. Me and you today, we've entered into a new world. Every time I do it, I have a series of 3 videos. And so me and you are going to have to make one more today. For maybe when we get done working or something. But I feel that chaos that we went through back in Ehawks, you always go through all that. There's a revelation, and then, I had the vibration inside of me, and then a little chaos somewhere along the lines. But then you enter into a new world, and that's, I guess 3 videos could be just like the 3 books in the New Testament.
Yeah.
But it's the same. It's kind of the end and the beginning at the same time. So 3 videos are kind of like the end, but also the beginning. I don't know how to explain it. There's no difference. We like to think there's a dividing line between the beginning and the end, but there's not. It's just a continuous cycle that runs into itself. So I guess the 3 videos, that is, that's the end and the beginning, all right there in one. I don't know, dude. I like this shit. It's good shit today because I want to do my podcast, and this ain't gonna make good actual YouTube video because there's no video. It's just us talking mostly.
But you still have it. I mean,
yeah, I have it, and I'll have to get my podcast and everything set up.
You got a laptop, right?
I do. I haven't got on there. I haven't got all that stuff figured out. It's like one little step at a time. I've never even looked into it. I know how to do all that stuff, and that's part of what aggravates me. Is that stuff doesn't come to me. I can't just jump in there and do it.
Yes.
It's coming one piece at a time, and it's very slow. It's as God kind of, I don't know, just this unfolding. I have an influence on it and how fast it unfolds, but at the same time, I don't have complete control of it.
There's always this saying that, like, I look at it takes 6 hours to build a Toyota pickup truck. Did you know that? And it takes 6 months to build a Rolls-Royce car. Okay. Which one's better? Rolls-Royce, obviously. They're...
Did you say a Toyota?
Yep.
I don't know, man. I don't know how to.
I mean, they're great too. I love Toyota. I love
as far as
quality,
high-end,
the handmade car.
It
takes them 6 months to build.
Is it handmade?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I didn't know that.
They all do it, man. It's crazy.
I didn't know that. That's badass.
Yeah. I mean, granted, that's like $1 million car.
So you're talking, I like what you've done there, though. You took 2 high-quality things and compared them. They're both very high quality. Toyota's high quality, but that's the difference between factory high quality and handmade high quality.
Because they're always like, if you get it, if it works out quick and fast, it's not going to be as good as like
it's not
the process.
That's why I really want to get into handmade shit. I haven't figured out what I'm going to do or how I want to do it, but I don't know.
I've just been trying to... Is it at my fingertips? Like, I look out there and see it, and it's a use to me. And one way, why would I go not
right?
to get that instead of, like...
And that's part
of...
And
it's better for you.
It is.
Like way
it's
better.
better for you. It's better for the land. It's good to repurpose the land. That's what takes the world and makes the world a godly place. If you just leave the world as it is, it just goes wild. Completely wild. I call myself wild man. Because we need a wild... We lost our nature, the wild aspect of ourselves. And that is an important part you have to carry with you.
Look how the Native Americans...
But you have... Yeah.
I mean...
But, so you take that, and the way Native Americans lived, and then you apply man-made structures and shit to it, and you end up with temples, and you end up with very godly things, but it has to work in accordance with nature.
Yep.
If you go out of accordance with nature, then you become destructive to the earth.
I believe...
it's like a man being harsh on his wife and abusive.
Yeah.
So,
I was reading, I believe it was a Spaniard explorer, like when he discovered the Mayans, like in their temples and stuff, he was like, it was a civilization that you could have never dreamed of. He was like, there was over 250,000 people, like flourishing, like in the middle of nowhere. Man, like there's supposed to be no one around, undiscovered land, show up, and it's like nothing like he's ever seen ever.
That's fucking awesome. See, I think that's where we're at in this world right now. We had this vision, this preliminary, I don't think that's the word I want. This vision of the future. So aliens come in, we have all this talk with aliens and traveling out to space and stuff. I think we're going to do that, but not until way later on. I think we have to learn to take care of what we have here first. Learn to live amongst ourselves.
Yeah.
Because if we don't learn to live amongst ourselves, we're going to destroy ourselves. You know, we're not going to be able to grow and expand out into space if we're destroying ourselves.
Yeah.
So I think we're going to have to do that, create godly civilization, lifestyles here on Earth before we ever actually fully connect. I think that was just like a glimpse.
Yeah.
Into the future.
Where do you think heaven is?
Where?
Yeah.
All around us all the time, inside of you, outside of you.
Okay.
I think it's kind of like the energy field. It's the difference between, I guess heaven, as far as the Bible would be concerned, would be the difference between being connected to the positive flow, the godly flow of life, and then entering into, like hell would be, to me, entering into very lower, depressing states of mood or having to deal with demons and addictions and stuff like that.
I listen to this guy. Sometimes he's like Christian and Islam, but he's like more so Islam, like because he's like I guess been heavy reading into it.
Yeah.
But like he doesn't believe in like, and it ain't gonna make sense, but it will. It makes sense to me. He doesn't believe in depression. Right? Mm-hmm. For the simple fact is, like, he believes that in the feeling of depression. He believes in that.
Sure,
but he doesn't believe, like, you are clinically depressed. You need to, take this. Because he's like,
sure.
He's like, you can take two people, one that believes in ghosts and one that don't believe in ghosts, set them in a haunted house, and, one of them can hear a gust of wind that, slam something, and he'd be like terrified, like run out, it's a ghost. He's like, then the other guy's gonna sit there not carrying one bed, and he's gonna be like, oh, it's nothing. And he's gonna go back to sleep. Yeah. He's like, so there's two ways to look at that. And he's like, I don't necessarily believe in that because I don't allow myself to get to that point. It's I don't know what the hell that is. He's very disciplined.
I understand. I understand what's going on there. Me personally, I believe in both. As in, like, depression is real. Kind of like my ADHD. They diagnosed me with a little bit of ADHD. It is real.
But
as in, you can put a boundary on it.
Yeah.
You can describe it. But at the same time, it's just a part of life.
Yeah.
And it flows in with everything else. So it's It's like yes and no. Like my ADHD is a real thing, but it's not. I wouldn't call it a problem. It's just simply a.
Unless it like you make it.
It's just a way of describing how I am.
I was talking to a guy who's like, "That's a gift, dude."
I mean, it's kind of well. It depends. Every gift is also a curse.
Yes, that's a fact.
It depends on whether or not you.
Mom said I got ADD
because
like
just fucking. It's goddamn.
How me and you were talking, like I don't like being around like in a bar room. Oh my gosh, I cannot. I don't get good feelings. Like
I always had to get drunk. If I'm sober, I don't want.
I don't.
So
like, but like if I'm like in a large, just a group of people, like multiple conversations are going on.
Yeah.
Like I zone every one of them out, and like Nina's all the time like, you're deaf. It's like, no, I'm not deaf. Like it's,
dude, I
cannot
so much about that stuff.
Like I'm in on this conversation. I don't even hear someone yelling for me over here.
Yeah.
Like I can't. Like,
but here's the thing: you can actually. I used to be that way, except when I connected to God. When I connected to God, it was as if I could take it all in.
Yes.
I could focus here and hear this person who I'm talking to and know what was going on, but I also knew everything around me.
To me, it's like it floods in. It's just like a bunch of noise. And like, and
that's
it like
the
hits
curse.
a button in me.
That
It like hits a button.
Yep.
And like,
I
have to walk out.
You have to learn. Yeah. That's the curse part of it.
Yeah. Like
once you turn it into a gift, you'll be able to hear all that. The reason you're naturally blocking that stuff out is because it's, you're not able to handle it. It's too much for you to handle all at once. So you got to slowly open yourself up to it. And you actually have to do things, practices and stuff to help with that. That's opening your awareness up, like we was talking about with the guitar and everything. That's, you get zoned in here so you can hear this person and get a full reading of what's going on. But eventually, the more you do that, if you place yourself in that situation again and again, and allow yourself to loosen up, to relax, you may miss something that person says here or there. You're going to make mistakes. Shit's going to happen. But try to expand from that. It'll happen. It'll just happen. So you kind of grow and expand your awareness, and you can develop that into a gift. It's difficult, though. It's hard. I deal with it too, dude. I've been that way all my life. Yep. Anyways, I guess we'll get off here. Second video there. Oh, God. Wild Man featuring his old cousin here, Bransen Baldwin.